This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Long wait times at Winnipeg emergency departments continue to have people sounding the alarm. Not only are some patients frustrated, but the nurses union says the rising waits are problematic. It comes months after the government launched a team tasked with cutting those exact wait times. The CBC's Rosanna Hempel has the story.
Arlene Kennington is bracing for another long wait at the Health Sciences Centre ER today. Yesterday, she left after 8 hours.
At 9 o'clock, the night nurse come in and said, "We are experiencing lots of delays, so it could be a long night." Phoned my doctor this morning. She says, "No, you have to go back and wait. It doesn't matter if it's 20 hours. And I know people here yesterday were waiting 20 hours.
Norm Penton got in pretty quick yesterday, but he says an announcement on the PA warned that patients from other hospitals were being directed to HSC.
They just said all wait times would be increased, and then there was a problem with all the lab equipment. They couldn't get the blood work and all that kind of stuff done, so it increased the wait times even more.
This is an estimated snapshot of what ER wait times look like in Winnipeg Wednesday afternoon. The longest was at St. Boniface Hospital, reaching nearly 12 hours. The median wait time across city ERs peaked at 4 hours in December 2023 and nearly reached that time again this past February. At the beginning of May, the province announced that a medical team would be working to cut the wait times in hospital ERs. The Manitoba Nurses Union warns in Winnipeg they've continued to increase in the last 2 months.
We're hearing that from nurses that wait times are longer, that there seems to be more bottlenecking in our ERs and our urgent cares. Patients waiting in the department for a long time to get into an admitted bed. We are not moving in the right direction, and that is certainly what staff are saying.
The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority says there's often a surge in capacity after a long weekend. And that's what they saw over the last few days. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Meantime, we're getting new insight into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Winnipeg's healthcare facilities. The Health Authority has been asking patients about their experiences in a survey since 2022. But we haven't known what people were saying until now. CBC's Ian Fraze explains what the survey is finding, and the results may surprise you.
I'm not surprised. Just because of how things are going in healthcare right now, there's so much turmoil, there's so much chaos.
The head of the Manitoba Nurses Union is responding to the findings of a survey that asked patients about their experiences. The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority has been surveying patients since 2022, but their answers have been under wraps until CBC News obtained more than 9,000 anonymous survey responses through a Freedom of Information request. Responses from the first half of 2024 show nearly 80% of patients rated their experience an 8 out of 10 or better. A public health care advocate says that's great, but
as important as the positive stories and results are, I think where we really can get somewhere is with that sample size of people who are really frustrated.
Don't leave patients lying in urine, said one survey respondent at Victoria Hospital. At Seven Oaks, a patient said families should not have the shock of walking into patient's room and find they are not there. One patient at Gray's Hospital heard nurses complain all day about being short-staffed. I felt like I shouldn't ask for help because I would be a bother.
That makes me feel bad because, part of our job is to provide holistic care where we provide everything for the patient's needs.
Some respondents had positive reviews. The only negative aspect of my visit today was the prognosis. Everything else was exceptional, said a patient at Riverview Health Center. It seems contradictory, said a Concordia Hospital patient, but surgery was pretty darn near an enjoyable experience. The health minister says there's lots to celebrate, even as the healthcare system is under repair.
I think it's really important for us to highlight for healthcare workers themselves and for Manitobans that the majority of the feedback was positive.
Winnipeg's health authority calls every patient who rates their overall experience below a 6 out of 10 to try to address their concerns. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
2 13-year-olds are among a group of 4 teens facing armed robbery charges. It all stems from an incident at a Unicity Walmart store on Tuesday. CBC's Felicia Adam has more.
Jessica Angel has been shopping at this Walmart for 20 years, but in the past year, she's been on high alert.
My 7-year-old son wants to come and get pop or whatever in the night, and nope, like after 8:30, forget it. Like, he's not coming here to shop.
On Tuesday evening, patrol officers in West Winnipeg were alerted to an armed robbery in the Walmart in Unicity. Police say 4 teenagers went into the store and began filling stolen backpacks with goods. When a security guard tried to stop them from leaving the store, one pulled out a CO2-powered air gun and fired. No one was injured. Chris Hames, who grew up in Westwood, isn't shocked. He's seen crime in the area increase over the years.
It doesn't feel great having my wife shopping by herself or, being with my daughter. She's 8, and always having to kind of keep her closer than you feel like you should have to, but that's just the way the world is now.
Inspector Jennifer McKinnon says retail crime in her 28 years of service has gotten worse.
I have no words to describe how terribly wrong this incident could have gone on for everyone. For the security officers, for the youths that are involved, for our officers that were coming through the door, and for our community.
All 4 teens were charged with armed robbery using a firearm. A 13-year-old boy is charged with assault with a weapon. 2 girls aged 15 and 17 have additional arrest warrants for failing to comply with sentence and release orders.
That's pretty alarming. For anybody, but for that age to be at that point in their life where that's what it's come to is it's pretty shocking, pretty sad.
All 4 teenagers are in youth custody. Police are urging retailers to report incidents like these so they can send additional resources to help. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg police are investigating the discovery of human remains on the shores of the Red River. Officers were called yesterday afternoon to an area near Markham Road and University Crescent close to the U of M. Police say partial remains were discovered on the riverbank. No other information is being released at the moment. 2 Calgary lawyers who hired a private investigator to follow a Manitoba judge have now been disbarred from the Law Society. The president of the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms, John Carpe, and its then litigation director, Jay Cameron, can no longer practice law in Alberta. In June 2021, the pair hired a private eye to take photos of a judge in hopes of catching him breaching pandemic-era provincial restrictions. The 2 were found guilty of professional misconduct. Both are already banned for life from practicing in Manitoba and are currently serving a 3-year Canada-wide ban. Well, the cost of putting your child in daycare has improved recently, but finding a space to begin with is still a problem for many parents. Manitoba signed on to a federal-provincial plan to offer $10 a day universal childcare 4 years ago. Probe Research surveyed nearly 1,900 parents in the province, and 3/4 say Manitoba is not even close to having a universal childcare program. The survey found the average wait time for a space is 17 months. The Manitoba Child Care Association says that's unacceptable.
17 months on a wait list that's crazy. I mean, no one is waiting 17 months to get into a school or start school. Children should have access to, high quality childcare when they need it. The 17 months is that's not okay.
The association says they're hearing from some parents who are taking a leave of absence from work because they simply can't find spaces. It says more trained staff is desperately needed. Time now to bring in weather specialist Riley Lachuk. And Riley, a much cooler start to the day today than we've seen in a few days.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly felt like fall out there this morning. Have a look at some of these readings from first thing this morning. -1 in Thompson overnight, Gillum +4, +1 in Roblin, 3 to 5 degrees in the west, 5 overnight in Winnipeg. We do have a frost advisory in place for eastern Manitoba, east of the city of Winnipeg, into northwestern Ontario as we head into the early morning hours on Thursday. So you're looking at some of those numbers, 5, 6, 7 degrees, subtract 4 or 5 degrees from that as we head into the overnight hours tonight. So certainly looking at a chilly night. As expected, a few scattered showers into northwestern Ontario through the Inner Lake into parts of the Red River Valley as we've gotten throughout the day. Today, we're looking at a bit of clearing overnight. Then cloud starts to build in, so 5 degrees overnight in Winnipeg once again tonight. Looking at rain beginning in the morning, 6 degrees and only getting to 10 by the time we get to the afternoon. Looking at about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain, Brittany, as we get through the day tomorrow. Some higher amounts further to the west. I'll talk about that when I come back.
All right, thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Making sure students don't go hungry. How the province's Universal School Nutrition Program is stepping in for another year. That story still to come. Stay with us. First Nations chiefs and delegates from across Canada are in Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg this week to set priorities for the future. The theme of this year's Assembly of First Nations annual General Assembly is Prosperity for All. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, there's a focus on the federal government's plans to fast-track major economic projects.
Bill C-5, the Building Canada Act, has been a hot topic of discussion on day one of the Assembly of First Nations annual General Assembly here at the RBC Convention Centre in Winnipeg in Treaty 1 territory. That act gives the federal government the power to fast-track major projects deemed to be in the national interest to strengthen the economy in the wake of Donald Trump's tariffs. But there's concern the government's bypassing its duty to consult First Nations, a constitutional requirement to make sure those projects don't infringe on Indigenous rights. That and several other economic issues emerged as the focus on the first day of the three-day assembly. There is also a push to address the First Nations infrastructure gap and discussions on setting priorities ahead of October's federal budget. Assembly of First Nations National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Neepanek says the budget needs to address the infrastructure needs in First Nations and mistrust around Bill C-5.
As part of their Bill C-5 implementation plan, Canada has dedicated $40 million in funding to support First Nations participation in national infrastructure projects. And given the scale of the projects being suggested, threats to First Nations rights and the environment, this is very woefully inadequate.
Woodhouse-Neepanek says many chiefs are concerned Canada's relationship with First Nations has moved backwards in the wake of Trump's tariffs as the country looks to address economic issues. Speaking at the Assembly Wednesday morning, Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Rebecca Alty said that an Indigenous Advisory Council has been set up to advise the federal government's Major Projects Office. Now, this year's Assembly will also discuss other issues like First Nations policing, child welfare reform, substance abuse harm reduction strategies, and the repatriation of artifacts. It was originally scheduled to take place in July, but was postponed as wildfires in Manitoba forced thousands of people from their homes, leaving hotel space limited. The assembly runs until Friday. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Riley's back in now, and it is nice to be back beside you after a week and a half or so. I was out west. It was hot, 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 and I come back, and it is fall and sweater weather.
Suddenly, we've flipped the switch right as you came back into the city here. So, and we're looking at this pattern, Brittany, really continuing as we get through the next few days. So you'll recall last week I was showing you some of our afternoon temperatures, our daytime highs across the country, and we're under this big ridge here in the west that arced up something like this. Well, you know what? It's been replaced by a trough here that digs pretty far south into the U.S. Midwest. So Churchill, Winnipeg, both 13 degrees this afternoon. But then we see this ridge in the west now where temperatures last week were 19, 20 degrees for the GTA. Now 27s and 28s once again. And it's this block that we have in place here, two ridges on either sides of the country that is going to impact our weather a little bit here as we get through the next couple of days here on the prairies. So you can kind of see how this ridge in the west arcs up here. And then we see this trough down here, and that will help kind of lock things in place over the next few days, particularly with these three areas of low pressure, one over Ontario, one over the territories, one over Saskatchewan. As these start to push into Manitoba, we get this pretty broad area of rain moving in first thing in the morning tomorrow. So off to school first thing. Swan River, the Pas, Flin Flon, down through Brandon, likely to be pretty wet first thing. We hold the rain off in the Red River Valley till we get into the morning hours. So more like 8, 9 o'clock, we're looking at some of that rain starting, continuing through the day. But then you see this starting to come into retrograde and kind of push back westward here once again because of that block on the east, preventing that low from pushing a little bit further eastward into Ontario and Quebec. So some of that still having an impact on northeastern Manitoba as we get through Friday, Saturday, even potentially into the later hours of Saturday into Sunday. So we're looking at a few days of unsettled weather. Once we get into Saturday, though, we are looking at this ridge of high pressure starting to push a little bit further eastward again, and that will help to to clear skies out and start to warm our temperatures up as we get into next week here. So what this is looking like is a pretty broad area of 5 to 10 millimeters across southern Manitoba, but where we do get some of these higher amounts into the parkland, into northern Manitoba, where we're sticking into the rain a little bit longer, we are looking at the potential even for up to 20 millimeters of rain. So, I mean, not the precipitation that we necessarily need in the south this time of the year as we're looking at harvest continuing as we try to wrap some of that up, but some good rain coming to northern Manitoba. Wind not much of an issue as we get through into the day on Friday, into Thursday, but into Friday we will start to increase our winds 30 gusting 50 into the afternoon tomorrow, looking at 10 degrees in Winnipeg, single digits. These are temperatures about 10 degrees behind seasonal for this time of the year, Brittany, and we're looking at that warm-up happening as we get into the weekend.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, as kids head back to class, the province's school nutrition program is also returning. It's in its second year, but will look different. Millions have been set aside to make sure all students have barrier-free access to healthy foods. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, schools are adapting to meet cultural and dietary requirements while dishing out food that students will actually eat.
As you can see, we're bringing in a lot of food because we have a lot of students.
Boxes of fresh food arrive at Elmwood High School. Shipments of fruits, vegetables, and meat. The school's food coordinator, Robert Zana, uses it to prepare hundreds of meals per day for students.
But this year we're focusing on fresh meals twice a day, breakfast and lunch.
Elmwood was able to update its cafeteria kitchen with new fridges and cooking appliances last school year. It's thanks to the launch of Manitoba's universally accessible school nutrition program.
We designed it so that the program would address the need where the need is the greatest.
The NDP government has earmarked $30 million annually to expand previously offered meal and snack programs. The federal government chipped in more than $17 million over 3 years. School divisions across the province get a share of the money based on size and socioeconomic need to deliver snacks and meals that meet Manitoba's school nutrition guidelines. Each school division and school can deliver its own nutrition program. Fresh fruits and other healthy foods have proven popular with students in schools like Elmwood. To give you an idea, there were 31,000 enrolled in the Winnipeg School Division last year. Of those, 26,000 regularly got breakfast, lunch, or a snack.
So we really want to offer something that's nutritionally dense, something that really helps them feel able to learn, ready to learn, and generally French fries aren't going to fit the bill.
Progressive Conservative education critic Wayne Owasco called it a great initiative, but he questions if all students are getting the same access to food and is concerned the money is stretched too thin.
School divisions have to then hire staff, have to have prep for the food. In some cases had to upgrade their kitchen facilities.
Provincial funding for the nutrition program will remain the same this school year. Education Minister Tracy Schmidt says the province is offering support to help schools provide quality food and worked over the summer to adjust funding where needed.
I think that's going to be an ongoing dialogue and an ongoing assessment with schools and community partners to make sure that we are meeting the different needs across the many different communities in our province.
The minister says so far there has been anecdotal evidence of success through student feedback and in some cases improved attendance. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, keep that sweater handy. It was another cool and windy day. We have more ahead right after this. Stay with us. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling on the federal government to end the temporary foreign worker program. He says the program is flooding the market with cheap labor and contributing to unemployment. But as Evan Dyer reports, not all Canadians would support that move.
They broke our immigration system by allowing too many, too fast.
Pierre Poilievre says temporary foreign workers are taking jobs from Canadians.
They compete with working class and young people that ultimately drive down wages and drive away jobs.
The TFW program expanded during the COVID pandemic, but since then the unemployment rate has climbed, and Conservatives say that ending the program would force employers to replace TFWs with young Canadians. Employers say not so fast.
We take no issue with changes to the levels or conditions associated with the temporary foreign worker program from time to time. But to suggest that the program itself be permanently scrapped is just ridiculous.
Mark Carney says businesses have told him they need the program.
Their number one issue is tariffs, and their number two issue is access to temporary foreign workers.
This migrant worker asked not to be identified for fear of reprisals. She says the cancellation of the program would affect not only her family and the fish plant that employs her, but also the small Maritimes community where she's lived for years and where the local hotel and grocery store depend on foreign workers like her.
I think it's a pretty clear effort on the part of Poilievre to get himself back in the game by whipping up xenophobia and anti-migrant hysteria and scapegoating migrants for a housing affordability and a jobs and wage crisis that is not of their making.
Migrant rights groups say TFWs don't normally compete for the same jobs as students.
The vast majority of TFWs are in agriculture and fish processing and trucking, and these are not sectors where that traditionally hire youth or summer students.
In most cases, I don't think they do need temporary foreign workers. I think they hire them because they can pay them less. And it's that simple.
You need to pay about $10,000 in fees just to get one position. You need to pay for that person's return airfare to and from their home country. You need to help pay for and find their accommodations.
The number of temporary visa holders in Canada is declining and is expected to decline more as new rules and regulations take effect. But the Conservatives have laid down a marker that they want to go further, even if it alienates a traditionally supportive small business sector. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, Tim Hortons has released a statement in response to the Conservative leader. It says it's hired less than 5% of team members through that program. The company also said that it's not true that temporary workers are a cheaper option, and added that owners pay competitive wages and often cover additional costs when using the program. Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting his cabinet for 2 days. It's all to chart out his government's priorities ahead of the Parliament's fall session. Hanging in the air, an unresolved trade war with the Trump White House. But as Ashley Burke reports, the Prime Minister says don't expect white smoke from the U.S. yet.
The Prime Minister arriving to meet his cabinet with an update on his talks with Donald Trump.
I last spoke to the president Monday evening. We spoke at length on a wide range of issues. It was a good conversation.
That conversation unfolding the same day Canada officially dropped some of its retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. to try and reach a deal.
The clerk of the Privy Council is there in Washington as we speak, that is meeting with the U.S. counterparts.
The government wants the U.S. to drop or lower its tariffs hitting Canadian industries hard, like aluminum and steel, lumber, and the auto sector. But Carney says there's no sign of relief yet.
Don't expect immediate white smoke on one of these strategic sectors, but that's the type of conversation that we're having and will continue to have.
The Conservatives' leader firing back, accusing Carney of breaking election promises.
He promised elbows up, he's been elbows down. He promised he would have dollar for dollar tariffs. He promised that he would get a deal with President Trump by July the 21st. There has been no deal.
These pollsters told Cabinet Canadians are less afraid of Trump and tariffs than they were during the election. giving the government time to reach a deal.
50% of the people said they will succeed, 50% said he will not succeed. So that means, for me, the Prime Minister has some room, okay, to solve this issue. He doesn't need to solve the issue in short term, because the expectation are it will be difficult for the next few months, and people understand that.
American political strategist Kevin Roberts is expected to speak to cabinet tomorrow. He's the head of a conservative think tank behind Project 2025, a blueprint designed to get Trump to consolidate power. The Prime Minister's office says that it's a move to try and better understand the Trump administration's mindset and playbook. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Toronto.
China flexed its military muscles in a massive parade marking the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. But the lavish event was much more than a show of martial might. As CBC's Briar Stewart reports, it also sent a pointed message to the West and the rest of the world.
Weapons rolled through Tiananmen Square, alongside troops marching in precision. Officially, this was a parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War in Asia. But it was also very much about projecting an image of the future. The Chinese nation is a great nation that stands independent and strong, said Chinese President Xi Jinping. On display, the latest Chinese weapons, including nuclear-capable intercontinental missiles and drones. Flanked beside China's Xi, Russia's President Vladimir Putin, and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, a group united in their desire to challenge the dominance of the United States.
And they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good.
U.S. President Donald Trump had previously posted that he wanted to send his warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. Russia's president dismissed that comment as a joke. I have a good relationship with him, said Putin. We communicate with each other on a first-name basis. Putin also warmly embraced Kim, thanking him for sending North Korean troops to fight in Kursk, Russia, near the border with Ukraine. The warm relations were part of an event full of deliberate posturing.
China is clearly backing Russia on the global stage.
This political expert says China is aligned with Moscow and Pyongyang, but only to a point.
Having Putin and Kim sitting next to Xi is one thing. Providing military support for both countries is quite another.
He says China is the most powerful player in this trio, and Beijing doesn't want to do anything to compromise that. Briar Stewart, CBC News, London.
At least 15 people have been killed and 18 others injured in a funicular derailed in Lisbon, Portugal. The yellow and white streetcar, one of Lisbon's famous attractions, derailed during the evening rush hour. Eyewitnesses told local media it careened down a steep hill, apparently out of control. Visuals indicate it may have crashed into a building where the road bends. 5 of the injured people are in serious condition, among them a child. Officials say an unknown number of foreigners are also among those hurt. It's unclear what caused the crash. Authorities are calling the incident the worst in the city's recent history. Women victimized by the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein are imploring U.S. lawmakers to release the so-called Epstein files. But President Donald Trump is calling the renewed pressure a political hoax, even though some of those demands are coming from within his own Republican Party. Georgie Smythe reports.
One by one, survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell shared their identities and their stories.
I reported Epstein, Maxwell, and others to the FBI in 1996 after they assaulted us in 2 different locations and held me captive.
Some for the very first time.
This is Rosa. What I just did is the first time anyone has ever said Rosa's name publicly as being attached and being abused by Jeffrey Epstein.
They were flanked by bipartisan lawmakers, all demanding Congress support the release of all Justice Department files related to Epstein. The disgraced financier was indicted on sex trafficking charges in 2019. Just over a month later, he died by suicide while in custody in New York.
And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal.
Moments later, at another press conference in the Oval Office, President Donald Trump was asked if the Department of Justice was protecting people with document delays and redactions.
So this is a Democrat hoax. Nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given.
In the face of growing backlash about the administration's handling of the investigation, some documents and videos were released this week, including apparent police interviews with victims recorded in the early 2000s.
A friend of mine told me about Jeffrey.
But critics say much of that was already public, which is why Democrats and a handful of Republicans say they're petitioning for a bill to force the Department of Justice to publish all the files, which the bill sponsor says their voters want.
They're at odds with our base right now, and particularly the MAGA base.
As the pursuit of these files grows, survivors say they're compiling their own list of Epstein's associates, and to stay tuned. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Going all in on protein. More on the protein-packed lineup now being offered at some of the country's biggest coffee chains. That's coming up next. Businesses are looking to cash in on the popularity of protein. Starbucks is the latest big coffee chain trying to appeal to customers looking to prioritize protein in their diet. Anis Hadari looks at what's driving demand and why not everyone is convinced it's a positive change.
Whether it's Starbucks or Tim Hortons, new protein drinks are grabbing customers' interest.
If I'm getting a coffee anyways, I would always go for the protein choice, always.
Oh my God, this is like the best thing ever because 20 grams of protein's a lot, especially in a latte.
I think they're probably good, but they're probably like upcharging for protein lattes.
At Tim Hortons, that high protein drink does cost more. At Starbucks, they won't say yet.
They're going to get potentially some higher margin.
This retail expert says it's a way to make more money.
I think marketers have done their research. They've realized there's a big market there. Supposedly the market's about a $2 billion market and it's growing about 7% a year. So, there is a big demand for it.
That demand means protein is no longer stuck in the meat aisle. And it's not just in new coffees. Some milks have higher protein. Pasta too, with high protein, even cereal.
What people actually need and what people think they need.
But this dietitian and researcher says social media has people overestimating what they need, whether it's to gain muscle or lose weight.
We see the food companies creating products and responding to consumer demand for protein. But at the source of the consumer demand is often a lot of misinformation.
Can I get one of the protein ice? That consumer demand could also be driven by trends, which can change.
We looked 20 years ago when it was all about low carbs, and this is a bit of an evolution of that, a bit of an evolution of keto. It's maybe protein is just the next in the evolution of the healthy eating trend.
Health-wise, that extra protein may not hurt or help.
For most people, it's benign. Whether you're going to drink a latte that has 28 grams of protein, or you're going to drink a latte that has 8 grams of protein, that's not going to have a huge overall impact on your health.
So a little extra protein in your coffee might only mean a little less money in your wallet. Anis Hadari, CBC News, Calgary.
He was a Winnipeg homegrown hero. Now the city is naming a basketball court in his honor. A city council committee has voted to name the new courts at Gateway Rec Centre after Chad Posthumus. Posthumus was the Winnipeg Sea Bears captain and previously played for teams in Canada, Japan, and Argentina. He also played for the Canadian men's national basketball team. The 33-year-old died in November after suffering a brain aneurysm. The motion still needs full council approval to pass. Well, more frequent larviciding could do away with the need to fog for mosquitoes in our city. That's one of the conclusions of a new report by the city's insect control branch. The city expects to run out of the last pesticide approved for use as a fogging agent in the next 2 to 3 years. It says it could instead control mosquitoes by larviciding once a week instead of every 10 days. Now, the change would cost less than $1 million a year, but would also require a new helicopter base for the insect control branch. Well, are you stuck on making that big life decision, or maybe you're confused about whether to follow your heart? Sometimes we're just looking for advice from someone who's already been through it. Well, help is just a phone call away. CBC's Zubina Ahmed spoke with some seniors who are sharing a wealth of wisdom.
Welcome to the Misericordia Place Life Advice Line.
Through a new hotline number, Misericordia Place personal care residents are sharing their wisdom and knowledge with younger people. People can call 204-788-8060. Then select a number from 1 to 10. Each number is pre-recorded with a piece of life advice. Toby Gillies is an artist in residence at Misericordia Place who made this project possible. Gillies says there are a variety of topics covered and residents are enjoying recording it.
There's dating, there's sort of things around like how to be yourself, how to be true to yourself. There's one man shared some tips for moose hunting. There's tips for kind of getting yourself out there. Overall, I think people really shared that it's important to kind of like to keep growing, to put yourself out there, to be generous, to share.
Some residents shared what advice they gave.
Try to make someone smile every day. That's important to me. And just remember, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it because it's fine. Just learn from it. Learn from your mistakes.
I gave advice on how to dress.
And what was your advice on how to dress?
Be a lady.
And how is it to be a lady?
Don't wear sleeveless blouses because the men can look down your armpits, or the boys.
Gillies says the advice will keep changing every few months. The project is supported by the Misericordia Health Centre Foundation, Manitoba Arts Council, the Winnipeg Foundation, and Artists in Healthcare. Zubina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
I love it. I might need to call Geraldine after the show to get some more advice. I've got some things on my mind.
Yeah, I like the try to make someone smile every day. You know what? It's simple.
Well, you know what? With your weather forecast, a lot of the time we do make people smile. This time, I know all summer long we were begging for some of that rain. Maybe not everybody's looking forward to it over the next few days.
Yeah, I know. A few showers in Winnipeg today, Brittany. We are looking at a more steady rain over the next couple of days. Looking outside right now, at least we're in a bit of a break from some of that cloud cover, maybe even a hint of sunshine. But you know what? I draw your attention to the trees on the lawn at the U of W here because those leaves are starting to change. They're more of an orangey green now. 12 degrees in the city right now. We topped out at about 13 this afternoon in north wind at the moment. Across the rest of the province, 11s and 12s for the most part across much of southern Manitoba. 9 into Kenora and Dryden. Temperatures hanging around 10 still through much of northern Manitoba as well. And we'll see that temperature dropping. We get into some brief clearing, at least here in the Right River Valley, before we start to get some cloud cover starting to make its way back in. And that brief clearing will allow temperatures to really fall overnight tonight into northwestern Ontario and eastern Manitoba. Looking at some 1s and 2s on the map for Sprague and Fort Francis, where we're into a bit of a cloudier sky with some of that rain beginning in the west. Temperatures slightly warmer, 5, 6, 7 even in Swan River overnight tonight, and looking at 5 to 10 millimeters of rain starting through the overnight hours tonight for parts of northern Manitoba. So 7 degrees through Flin Flon, the Pas, OCN. Looking at on the freezing mark again through Gillam into Shamattawa, -1 overnight with a partly cloudy sky. We'll start to see that cloud building into northeastern Manitoba as we get into the day on Thursday. But you can see by 7 o'clock in the morning, already well into the rain through northwestern Manitoba. Looking at that rain continuing through much of the morning, starting to gradually taper off as we get into the afternoon, but still even through the afternoon hours, looking at some showers continuing for places like the Pas, for example. And we get into the rain into the day already, first thing in the morning for the west as well. So looking at 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, for example, through the Parkland, some heavier pockets into southwestern Manitoba. I know these temperatures, 8s and 9s, the best we're going to do as we get through Thursday, as we see some cooler air coming in with this as well. More like 5 to 10 millimeters of rain into eastern parts of the province, into northwestern Ontario, even some peaks of sunshine as well. All right, all that being said, dog walking forecast time, yeah, maybe a good day to stay inside. Bert might get a little bit bored inside with some of that rain. Maybe a good day for a cat nap. Thank you, Dan, for sending this picture in. You can please keep sending yours to talkback@cbc.ca. So 10 degrees, the best we're going to do, Brittany, through the afternoon hours tomorrow, maybe getting a bit of a break from that by the time we get to the evening.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, it's a race against time in eastern Afghanistan to find survivors of Sunday's powerful earthquake. At least 1,400 died in the disaster that also left more than 3,000 people injured. But how did a so-called moderate quake turn so catastrophic? CBC News seismologist Johanna Wagstaff takes a look.
More than 1,000 people killed, entire villages wiped out, and it all came from a magnitude 6 earthquake. At first glance, that magnitude doesn't sound unusual. We actually see 100 to 150 earthquakes of this size every year. So why was this one so deadly? Because of where it struck, when it struck, and how people build their homes. It hit just before midnight when most people were asleep, with an epicenter less than 10 kilometers deep. And in rural Afghanistan, homes are built with mud, brick, stone, raw timber, locally available and affordable materials. But this monolithic style isn't engineered to resist the side-to-side shaking an earthquake generates. So buildings simply crumble and bury people inside. That's the crucial difference from wealthier countries where stronger building codes mean drop, cover, hold on, actually save lives, like here in Canada. In this part of Afghanistan, though, the buildings themselves are the danger. And the geology matters too. Afghanistan sits right where the Indian plate and Eurasian plates collide, the same collisions that are forcing the Himalayas higher each year. That makes earthquakes an unavoidable part of life in this region. Add to that the remoteness of the villages, landslides blocking access routes, and ongoing aftershocks, and you can see why this, just magnitude 6, ended up being catastrophic.
Still ahead, give a little, take a little. How this roadside stand has won the hearts of residents in one Manitoba town. That story in our Daily Lift. The holidays are going gray. Grey Cup, that is. With the 112th Grey Cup taking place in Winnipeg this year, the football season and the festive season are joining forces. It will be the theme of this year's Santa Claus Parade, combining two events into a big family-friendly weekend. The parade will kick off the weekend on Saturday, November 15th downtown, with the big game set to take place Sunday.
Okay, let's stay on the gray theme because Thursday looking pretty gray across really most of the province. Looking at 10 degrees through the afternoon tomorrow. Normal high for this time of the year at 21, so 11 degrees below seasonal for this time of the year. We'll start to see some of that steadier rain tapering off late day, but some of this lingering as we get into the day on Friday. Sunset now at 8:05 as we get toward the later part of the week here. Into Friday, still cool, 14 degrees, 15. We get a bit of sunshine back as we get through the weekend. Mainly sunny sky, 18 degrees on the way for Sunday, 21, 23 for the beginning of next week. The rising cost of living has hit virtually everybody in one way or another.
But residents in one Manitoba town decided to do something to help out. Their initiative and the response is our Daily Lift. Okay, this is the Giving Shack. It opened up in St. Claude this summer. A local couple built this small hut a little over a month ago after seeing a post in a village Facebook group. The idea was to provide a place where extra garden produce and household items could be left for those who need them. The community, well, they quickly got on board.
This couldn't be possible if it wasn't for the amazing neighbors that we have in here. Even though we built it and we gave it a house, it's a win for the entire community.
If you have too many tomatoes and you want some zucchinis, you can change them and swap them and share with everybody.
Squash, apples, as well as homemade relish and even some beauty products are among the donations so far. It will close soon for the season, but the couple says they plan to expand the structure over the winter to provide even more space next year.
I love this because we always say, you know, it takes a village, and here is an example of that village stepping up.
So good to see, and it's great to see it gets some good use out of it too.
Well, hopefully it's waterproof.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have a wonderful night. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Have a good one.